Good evening, Fernwood. My name is Neil, and thank you for joining me on my day by day appreciation of the entire 70s soap opera, Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. We are heading into the March 23rd, 1976 episode, so let's do a little bit of catching up. Even though Dennis is dating Kathy, he still seems to have a lingering obsession with Mary. That's uncomfortable for me because, of course, Dennis and Mary have some history that makes me uncomfortable. But, I think it's just going to be a complicated web. Mary herself has a plan to get her husband Tom hooked up with Mona Mackenzie, who seems to be en route to doing some sex surrogate work with Tom to work on his performance anxieties. Mary seems to think that, well, I don't know exactly what Mary thinks, but Mary seems to be focused on Tom's performance without necessarily realizing that what a surrogate does. So that could be an awkward situation. I'm looking forward to the awkwardness. And then the big piece of news that dropped yesterday is that Loretta and Charlie, well, Charlie has a previous wife before Loretta, and that is a woman named Muriel, who was only named audibly, as sometimes this show will do. They'll drop the name and expect us to kind of get excited, which I guess the expectation is right. I am kind of excited to find out who this Muriel is. As far as Charlie is concerned, Muriel is the most terrible person in his experience. I'm paraphrasing there because I can't remember the exact phrase, but he certainly has some fear and trepidation when it comes to that woman. That's what we have for the recap, so let us begin.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
I must be using the wrong dish soap. I can't see my reflection.
Oh, Mary, I'm so glad she's home. Mary, the most terrible thing come to me over the phone today.
An obscene phone call? The police say the best thing to do is hang up right away, because otherwise you only encourage the pervert, and that just makes him more perverted.
Mary, it's worse than an obscene call.
What could be worse than an obscene call? I mean, on the telephone.
I don't know how to tell you this, Mary, but, well, what if I was to say to you that today I heard from Charlie's other wife?
Charlie's other wife? There's an old radio show called John's Other Wife.
Mary, Charlie has another wife.
Charlie Haggers? The man you're married to?
Well, you think if it was another Charlie Haggers, I'd be this upset? Mary, Charlie's got another wife, and she called me today.
You mean she called you up? You mean like she wants to be your friend? That's brazen. That is really brazen.
What am I going to do, Mary?
Loretta, take my advice. Do not invite her to stay at your house. If Charlie's a bigamist, let his other wife stay at a motel.
Charlie's not a bigamist, Mary. I mean, they did get a divorce a long time ago.
Oh, well that's all right.
No.
Why not?
Because he never even told me, Mary. I mean, I didn't even know nothing about her. I mean, here you think you got this open and free relationship with somebody, then all of a sudden you find out they got this ex-wife just floating around. You didn't even know about her.
Maybe it slipped his mind. No, I guess that's not likely. Any person would remember something like that.
Mary, it is a terrible shock when you find out this deep, dark secret about somebody you thought you knew all along. I mean, it's just awful. Especially if that person is your husband.
Oh, Loretta, listen. every cloud has a silver lining. And if you look at it this way, just think of it this way. Now you've brought it all out into the open, and now that it's out, you can work things out.
Can't change the past, Mary.
Well, no, but you could have a better future with no more secrets. I mean, like, maybe Tom and I are gonna have.
Mary, I have the distinct impression that you and Tom was up to your baby blue eyes in trouble.
Yeah, but we may be able to work things out.
Yeah.
We got something.
What?
Well, we got something that's gonna let us bring things out into the open and work things out. We got a surrogate.
A what?
A surrogate.
Mary, what's that?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but it's very scientific.
Scientific? What do you mean? You're going to do things with test tubes and Bunsen burners and stuff?
No, it's not. It's a different kind of science, I think.
What? What kind? I mean, what is it?
Loretta, I can't go into it right now. I have company.
Me?
No, it's in the other room.
Who is it, Mary?
Oh, Loretta, I'll tell you what. I will be glad to tell you all about it, but right now, I really do have to get back to my company.
Well, all right. I guess I should go fix Charlie's dinner anyway.
Well, that's a good sign. You can't be that mad if you're gonna fix him dinner.
Mary, I love Charlie far too much to be mad at him no matter what I think of him. He's just a different person than I thought he was. I'll see you later, honey. Oh, and Mary, listen, I mean, you know, good luck and everything with your scientific stuff, you know, the Bunsen burners and all that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I understand exactly what it is you do. I mean, I get the impression that you sure enjoy your work, though.
Yes, I do indeed.
Yeah.
I get a lot of satisfaction from it.
Boy, I envy that.
What do you mean?
Well, my job bores the pants off me. Excuse the expression.
That's all right.
I mean, I work on an assembly line 8 hours a day. The same miserable thing I do, hour after hour, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I mean, I swear sometimes I think I'm turning into a zombie, you know?
Yeah, no. It's this mechanical age we're living in.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel that way.
Well, you can say that again. You can say that again. You can say that again. See what I just did?
Yeah.
Huh? That's my job. It makes me I turn into a robot.
Well, I guess that I'm pretty lucky. Because I get paid for doing something most people enjoy doing for free.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
I really still don't understand exactly what it is you do, but, I mean, you say you're a sex therapist, but you really haven't told me exactly what a sex therapist does.
Well, just for now, let's say that I help people, okay?
Oh. Well, that's okay. And that's what you enjoy, helping people?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's pretty fantastic. I mean, that's pretty darn nice, isn't it? I mean, helping people?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that makes you a very unselfish person.
Well, not completely.
How do you mean, not completely?
Well, I do have a selfish motive also. You see, what I really want to do is become an opera singer.
You're kidding.
No.
An opera singer?
Uh-huh. See, that takes training, and training takes money. So I use the money I get from my work as a therapist to pay for my singing lessons.
So you can become an opera singer?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, I sure wish you all the luck in the world. That's terrific.
Thank you, Tom. That's very sweet of you.
You know what? I tell you, you're really a very easy person to talk to.
Thank you. So are you.
I mean, what are we've been talking, what, for just a few, 15 minutes or whatever it is. And, I mean, you told me all about your ambitions and everything like that. I mean, that's flattering.
Well, now you've told me a lot about yourself, too.
Well, not everything. I mean, I can't tell you about my ambitions, though.
Why not?
Well, I don't have any.
Oh?
No. No, what the hell can I do? I mean, where can I go?
Well, what do you want to do?
I don't know. I really don't know. I know one thing, I don't want to work in a damn assembly line the rest of my life and go nuts. I don't want to do that. But what the hell else can I do? I don't know. You know something?
What?
You know, in high school, I used to be a pretty damn good athlete.
Yeah, I believe it. You've got a good body.
Yeah, so do you. You know, my big sports, they were basketball and baseball, you know. Yeah. I was captain of both those teams my senior year.
Really?
Yeah, I really was.
It's great.
You know, some nights after a game, when we won, see, I played really good. I used to have this feeling like maybe I'm going to take off, you know, like a, like I want to fly, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think so, yeah.
I don't want to go out and guzzle beer with the guys. I don't want to do that, see, because I had this wonderful feeling. There was something out there, see, and I wanted that. I really wanted it. I knew it was out there and I could get it. I knew that for sure, just like I knew the back of my hand. And then one day, I don't know, couldn't find it, see. No matter how hard I looked, I just couldn't find it. It wasn't there.
I mean, you've just given up?
What can I do? You know, what the hell can I do? I don't know.
Well, I don't know what you can do. I can't help you with that right now.
So, what the hell? Here I am, right?
But I think I can help make where you are a more interesting place.
You really mean that?
Yes, I do.
You want to know something funny?
What?
I believe you.
Thank you. I mean, very few men respond to me so fully on just a verbal level.
What do you mean, verbal? Verbal? You mean with words?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
Huh? Well, what the hell else are we gonna do? I mean, except talk. I mean, you're a good friend of my wife's, and I'm a married man, and well, my wife's in the kitchen.
Oops. I made a pie, but it didn't turn out very good. And then on top of that, it fell on the floor. So, you know, I'm afraid we'll just have to have coffee. I'm sorry.
Based on that pie,
I have some
it's
frozen
probably
pies
for
in
the
freezer,
better.
but it would take a while to defrost them. And, you know, I thought that you'd like a real homemade pie anyway, because the ingredients are fresher. Although the ingredients nowadays aren't really ingredients, you know, in homemade pies. I mean, chemicals are ingredients, you know. I don't know if you'd call that an ingredient or not. Maybe you would. I don't know.
Well, just coffee will be fine with me. Anyway, it's almost dinner time and I really should be going.
Hey, why don't we invite Mona to have dinner with us? What do you say, Mona? How about it?
Oh, I wouldn't want to impose.
It wouldn't be an imposition. We'd love it, wouldn't we, Mary? No, we'd love having you, Mona. I mean, you and Mary being such old good friends and all. Huh?
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, of course we would, yeah. Gee, all we have are some TV dinners.
Oh, that would be just fine with me.
Well, good, then it's settled.
Gee, you and Mona became friends fast, didn't you?
Well, you know the old saying, any old good friend of my wife's is an old good friend of mine.
Oh, is that an old saying? I never heard it.
I was just joking.
Oh.
Yeah. You want to hear something really funny, though?
Is this another old saying?
No, not funny, funny, interesting.
Oh.
You know, you've known Mona practically your whole life, and I've only known her a couple of minutes, but I think I know her better than you do.
I think he might.
You know, I haven't seen Mona in 15 years. I mean, when Mona and I were 16, we knew each other really well, and a person changes a lot in 15 years, Tom. A lot. I mean, that's something I have learned about people. It's something I've noticed about them.
Yeah. Well, she hasn't changed much since I've known her.
You've only known her a few minutes. I mean, how could you sit... Oh, that was a joke, huh? I'm sorry. I didn't get it.
You see, I've told your husband a great many things about myself. He's a very good listener.
Is he?
Yeah. I bet you don't even know what she does for a living. Do you? She's a sex therapist.
Oh, she is?
Mm-hmm.
Really? A sex therapist? Well, what do you know? Isn't that so very interesting? A sex therapist. Do you mind?
Do I mind? Why should I mind? It's a free country.
That's true. That is so true. It's a free country, and why should you mind? You sure you don't?
Don't mind? Why do you keep asking me if I mind? So she's a sex therapist. I mean, what does that have to do with me?
Nothing, nothing. I mean, how could it have anything to do with you?
That's what I just said.
That's right. That is absolutely right. He just said that.
Do you know what a sex therapist does, Mary?
Sure.
What?
I'm not sure.
Neither am
Oh, let's not talk shop. Let's talk about something else.
Oh, what a good idea. What a very good idea. I mean, why should we talk about shop? I mean, it's after 6 o'clock. The shop is closed. See, that was kind of a joke. So how have you been? I mean, I haven't seen you for 15 years. What have you been doing?
I. You know what she's been doing. Sex therapy.
Tom, she said she doesn't want to talk about shop. I mean, she's a guest. Now, you don't ask a guest to talk about shop when they don't want to talk about shop.
Okay, so we won't talk about sex therapy, whatever it is. Nobody around here needs that anyway.
Well, we could talk about it if Mona wants to talk about it. You know, maybe you could learn something. I believe that nobody is above learning. I read an article.
Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
What do you mean, maybe even I could learn something? What kind of a way is that to talk in front of a guest? I mean, you make it sound like I'm ignoramus about sex.
Now, I'm sure that's not what Mary meant. Was it, Mary?
Well,
Actually, Tom, there are a great many aspects to the subject that investigators are still investigating. Nobody really knows all about it.
Yeah, but I bet you do, though. I mean, you've been in the business and all.
Well, there are certain aspects of the subject that I've studied extensively, so I may know a little more than the average person.
Like what, for example?
Oh, I don't think this is the time or the place to go into that.
Why not? It's very interesting.
I'll start dinner while you two have this oh so very interesting conversation. Sorry.
Tom, you were a little impatient with her. You really shouldn't do that.
Well,
I know that she loves you very much, and that she doesn't mean to displease you.
yeah, but, you know, sometimes, I mean, she acts
I
like...
hope I'm not interrupting anything. I mean, if you're having an interesting discussion, I don't want to interrupt it.
Oh, not at all.
Oh, well, I just wanted to find out what kind of a TV dinner that you wanted. Well, I have your roast beef, your fried chicken, your fish fillet, your turkey with dressing. I have everything's with potato and vegetable. Or you can have your Chinese or your vegetarian.
Well, they all sound good to me.
Let's have Chinese for a change.
Do you like Chinese?
Chinese, sure.
Okay, Chinese little bake. Okay, now you two just continue with your very interesting discussion.
She's such a dear. She tries so hard to please.
Yeah, well,
Oh, I hope I'm not interrupting.
Mary, there's nothing to interrupt. I mean, you keep interrupting all the time. I mean, you don't give us a chance to talk.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to know if Mona wanted coffee or beer with her Chinese.
Oh, either one would be just fine, dear.
I mean, I'm really sorry if I'm annoying you that way. It's just, it's very important to me that the three of us get to be very good friends.
Honey, it's getting late. We better think about getting to bed.
I can't go to bed, Charlie. My mind's just babbling too much, you know. I couldn't go to sleep.
Are you still mad at me about Muriel?
You know, if anybody was to tell me that I'd be sitting in our very own living room, listening to my very own husband talk about another wife of his, I'd say that he's nuts. Yeah, I mean, like if anybody was coming to the door, you know, taking a poll or something, I'd say it's more likely that a pig could fly.
Honey, I just talked about her because she called and because I know you're upset about it.
Wouldn't you be upset if suddenly out of a gloomy blue morning somebody called you up and said, "Hi, this is Loretta's other husband"?
Honey, sweetheart, darling, I wish you would do me the favor of stop calling her my other wife. You're my only wife. I love you like a hog loves his wallow. I love you as true and as good as anything God put on this green earth. Now, Muriel is not my wife. We got a divorce.
She got a divorce.
What's the difference?
Charlie, that's the whole thing.
What's the whole thing?
Let me explain something to you, okay?
I wish you would.
Well, now look, I know you love me and everything because, well, you know, I mean, I believe that as likely as I believe a pig can't fly.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say it.
So, I mean, it's not because I'm jealous of Muriel or nothing.
You have no cause to be.
Depends, of course, on what you mean by jealous.
Jealous is jealous.
Well, maybe yes, maybe no.
Maybe no.
Well, I mean, a part of what jealous could mean is worried on account of.
Worried on account of. Well, honey, I probably exaggerated what I said about Muriel. I mean, she's not all that bad.
You said she brings doom, Charlie.
Well, there's different kinds of doom. I mean, she's not a real gloom doomer. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Well, she can't be planning to stay long anyway. I mean, I haven't seen her in almost 15 years. She can't be planning to stay very long.
Charlie, let me ask you a personal question. You mind?
No?
Did she lay a big hurt on you?
Maybe then. But now is now.
Maybe.
I don't see how you can say maybe to that. I mean, now is now. What else could it be?
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I have no business to finish with Muriel.
But Charlie, what if she has some business to finish with you?
So it is confirmed that Mary has zero idea what a surrogate does. And, well, I feel the need to address the ethics of the situation because even in the 70s, when people were starting to talk about sex surrogates, I mean, maybe they were talking about them in the 60s, but I wasn't around then. But sometimes they are portrayed, as it seems like they are being portrayed here, as prostitutes or little better than prostitutes. And I would say I'm an advocate of prostitution. You know, I feel like it should be decriminalized, legalized, all of that. Sex work is work. That's where I stand on that. At the time, of course, it was definitely not seen that way by the large portion of the populace. And probably even today, it's still a bit questionable. But sex surrogacy has been through some controversy in terms of having sexual contact with your patients. And I think that's a pretty hefty little weight to carry around in terms of controversy and discussion, which means I'm not ready to resolve any discussion like that at the moment. But that's definitely what seems to be the case here. You know, it really seems like Mona McKenzie is working her way through opera school by sex therapy, and sex therapy in this case seems to be an analog for prostitution. So I don't believe that sex therapy is prostitution. I don't believe prostitution is bad, but they're not equivalent to me. I think for me, a more ethical question in terms of the story that's going on here is that Tom is being roped into a situation, and even though there's chemistry, there's a fairly huge ethical concern that he's being involved in something that he has no idea about, and that's problematic. Of course, Mary also doesn't know what's going on, so I I don't think it's intentional. So I feel like Mona McKenzie, even though in the fake socializing that she is doing, and not that she is a fake human being, she seems very sincere, but she's in an I Love Lucy style, like, you're gonna be someone else, and she's not talking professionally about the thing that she's been engaged to do professionally, and that is a fairly big issue. So I guess we will see where that goes. On the other hand, the whole thing where Mary has brought in Mona, and now she seems to be jealous of the chemistry that Tom and Mona have. I feel like there's so much to talk about in terms of the dynamic between Tom and Mary. Mona actually listened to Tom, and that seemed to open up some questions about his own search and his own path through life that has not been fulfilled. And that's pretty amazing. And I mean, yes, there's ethical concerns that I have asked about, but I really do appreciate seeing Tom's point of view for once. We know that Mary is certainly questioning literally everything, usually through the lens of some kind of marketing or some kind of media. I feel like tabloids and magazine articles were seen the same way as you might see Twitter today, or other places of social media, information stirring. What if Mary Hartman was shot in the Reddit era? There's a lot there. So I think that's going to be a whole bag of frogs to unpack. I'm not sure where that picture came from, but that's the one that came. And then we are still anticipating the arrival of Muriel Haggers. And at this point, it's really just a thorn in Loretta's side. I guess we will see where she comes, but right now it's just anticipation. So that's what we've got for the March 23rd, 1976 episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thank you for joining me on my day-by-day appreciation, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.